Hello and welcome to FireTech Talk, the Brooks Equipment video series where we discuss everything from codes and regulations all the way to fire equipment. I'm your host, Jacob Duncan, here today with Randall Mills, Director of Corporate Risk and HSE for AI Fire. Randall, it's great to have you on today.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Absolutely. So today we're going to talk about the importance of PPE. And my first question, what are some examples of necessary personal protection equipment, or PPE, in the fire safety industry for technicians on the job?
It varies specifically to the industry. It really depends on what the guys are actually doing for the company that they work for, because you've got vent hood cleaning, you've got fire extinguishers, you've got sprinkler pipe being installed. But basic PPE is going to require a hard hat, safety glasses, gloves, sturdy leather work boot, and notice I didn't say steel toe boot because that's actually not required by OSHA. Most employers think that it is. That's a nicety.
So what are some hazards that a fire technician could run into on the job?
Numerous. Change the information, I change my answer. In this industry, we have so many different venues in which we're working. We could be hanging brand spanking new sprinkler pipe. The possibilities of having an injury are endless. Obviously, you've got back injuries, you've got ergonomics, you have injuries that can take place just getting the pipe from the field into the actual building. We have arc flash possibilities where you've got 483 phase coming in the top of an electrical panel, and it's live all the time. And we're working in and around that on a daily basis.
What are some common OSHA violations in the fire safety industry, and how do you avoid making those mistakes?
In the fire protection industry, we see probably more slips, trips, and falls. The other thing that we will see is lack of fall protection. Those are some of the big fines that you'll find. OSHA just recently for 2019 raised their fines from about $7,000 or $8,000, $12,000, excuse me, to about $13,600 for a serious violation. It can go up to $132,600 for a willful violation. So if they find that you knew or that you should have known about the hazard and failed to protect your employee, you could be hit with a willful violation of upwards of $132,000.
What goes into making a good PPE program?
Understanding your employees, understanding your job site, and understanding what it is that you do for a living. If you don't understand that, you cannot put a good PPE program together because, like I said earlier, you change the information, I change my answer. The environment in which you're working changes daily. It can change hourly, which is why we conduct a JSA every day, a job safety analysis. And every time they show up at a job site, they're supposed to be looking at what hazards exist, what PPE do I need to wear in order to protect myself from that.
So how often should you provide training for employees on the job using the proper PPE?
OSHA says that we as employers have a requirement to ensure ourselves upon hire through the onboarding process that the individual has the knowledge, skills, and abilities when it comes to safety training and PPE use before we put them in the field. That's number one. Number two, ongoing training throughout the year. With our company, we do training every Monday morning. Our guys, when they're in the field, when they show up on a job site, if it's a construction site, they are having a 5-minute safety talk every morning. If we find an employee is showing that he doesn't quite understand how to protect himself, or he doesn't quite understand how to wear the protective equipment appropriately, retraining is done on the spot, and that's documented by the foreman or by the superintendent on the JSA. That protects us as an employer because now we can prove to OSHA, should they come in for an audit, that we are doing our due diligence to ensure that the employees have the knowledge, skills, and abilities to perform the job.
Do you have any interesting stories where PPE saved a life or benefited your business?
We've had several instances of arc flash where the guys are working on a fire pump controller. The door is normally closed, but we have had instances when the pump is turned back on after we've attached our leads across all 3 phases at the bottom of the panel, that the pump will arc, not the actual panel. And it's unusual, but we've had 2 instances where if the guys had not positioned themselves in accordance with their training, the arc flash actually would have blown them completely against the wall.
Randall, thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate how you were able to educate me and our audience on the importance of PPE in the fire safety industry.
You're very welcome. Good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. Until next time.